Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tinker Tailor Solder Fry, the Let's Try program here. Oof, ouch, that was a tough transition. On the mighty Loading Ready Run Video Entertainment Network, my name is Ian Horner, and I will be your navigator for today as we actually do a project that I have, in fact, not even touched before. We're gonna make mochi donuts, and if you're curious, I mean, well, there's been the Maricat who just posted a really cool picture there in the chat. But mochi donuts, it's mochi. Start at the top here. What's mochi? Mochi is a form of pounded rice cake, popular in Japan. It goes by a number of names in a number of different countries, but that seems to be the most popular one. Mochiko is a sweet rice-based flour that is sometimes used to make different kinds of mochi. You can use rice flour to make donuts, and when you do so, they become chewy and delicious. And when you put them in a ring form like this, you get what's known in Japan as the Mr. Donut Pon de Ring. And so, because March came in like a proverbial lamb, or perhaps like a nightingale, something soft and such. We need to go out with a bang, something loud, and of course, the mascot for the Pon de Ring at Mr. Donut in Japan is, of course, a lion. So why not? Let's make ourselves some donuts. Is this focused? No, it's just the brightness. That's ruining it. We'll be moving over to the other camera here just shortly. Don't worry. But before we do, we'll not be using the Just One Cookbook for this recipe this time, Dark Morford. We're going with the one Iris Veether is posted in the chat there at epicurious.com, because while I haven't tried this recipe, I have seen it demonstrated correctly at least once, so I know that it works, and hopefully it will be okay. Yeah, no, Satterpod Domni, wow, is correct, which is the leading cause of death amongst the elderly in Japan. I don't know if it's the leading cause of death, but it is absolutely something that is does happen around New Year's time and is tracked. Because why wouldn't you track that sort of thing? Mochi's dangerous, kids. Don't mochi alone. So what we're going to do is we're going to make up the dough. We're going to we're going to let it rest for a bit. We're going to make up some matcha-based because what is Japanese confectionery without some good powdered green tea in there? And then we are going to fry it up wok style, because I've been very happy so far, very recently, with using my wok to do some deep frying. We did some chicken sandwiches this past week, a few other things. Made up some from scratch falafel. Yeah, basically every now and then I get on a frying kick, and I've been doing it in the wok, and I like it because it doesn't require as much oil as the Dutch oven, and because the wok it spreads up and out, you end up catching a lot more of those droplets of oil that spatter out. So it's honestly a lot less messy process, and I've been getting much better at taking the oil out. Usually when I'm done, I like to go on a bender of fried food for a while. So usually I don't worry too much about saving the oil in another container, because by the time I'm done with it, the oil's done. But we're not at the frying stage just yet. We need to start off with the mixing and the baking of the dough. Let's say dough, because it is dough. So for the dough, we have, let's see here, 1 cup of Mochiko flour, which we will need here. We will need 1 cup of tapioca starch. Yep, that's here in a bag. We will need 2/3 of a cup whole milk. So let's get the other members of the wet team in here. I mean, probably any milk is, well, make sure it has some milk fat. You don't want fully skimmed milk. Wow, when did 2% become partially skimmed? We also want granulated sugar in the form of 1/3 of a cup. Big blad there. And we'll need 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Let's see here. Hopefully this last hunk of butter here is worth, oh yeah, that looks like about 2 tablespoons right there. We will need diamond crystal or Morton kosher salt. Hello. And we're going to need an egg and baking powder. So let's get our egg. Don't keep the eggs in the cupboard anymore, because that's not the convention. Okay, an egg. And God, the fridge smells like Tauntaun Men. We've got the leftover broth from yesterday in there, and it's glorious. And the baking powder, which is in the cupboard here. Buy the container once, and then get from your local bulk distributor forever. Okay, and then we're going to move that off there. Let's get ourselves a pot to cook in. We need something relatively... The thing says medium, so I will believe them. And, oops, well, my medium pot is in use. This should be able to handle it, I think. Yeah, let's give this a try. Okay, let's bring in the, let's swap you over to actual workstation 1. Here we go. Oop, there we are. Okay, we've got our ingredients here. Let's, so we want to bring the milk and the granulated sugar and the unsalted butter and the kosher salt to a boil. So let's do that here. Let's enter in there 2/3 of a cup of milk. So unfortunately, it's taken me this long to figure out that this is something that I can just make at home. I have been going this entire life thinking that there was something distinctly Japanese about the products in the mochi donuts that could only be bought in Japan, or could only be, say, created in a commercial kitchen context. And that appears to not be the case, so I'm happy about that. We need to rinse and dry out that. Boo! Always do your dry ingredients first. Otherwise, you're going to wash things. Iris says, these freeze acceptably, especially if you nuke them before eating. That's good advice and good to know. Highly suspect that these will last long enough to need to be frozen, but good to know for future. Okay, you gotta wet dries and dry the wets. Says Fallen of Hostar. This is fresh sugar. I have not encountered it yet before, but the hummingbirds... Actually, I'm going to open this over the sink so it doesn't cause a mess. Excuse me a moment. The hummingbirds have unfortunately been without food recently due to our lack of sugar, but fortunately they are... there's a lot more acceptable food for them. Okay, sugar. Loop. Now okay, let's move that to the side. Let's mix that a bit. Okay, where did I put that butter? Aha, up here. Let's see if that looks like 2 tablespoons to my trained eyeball. Aha, there you are. There's one thing I need, it's another set of these, honestly. Okay, that looks like 1 and then 2. And those go reasonably deep. Yep, that looks like 2 tablespoons to me. In you go. What else do we got here? And the half teaspoon of salt. Where's my half teaspoon? There you are. This seems closer to diamond kosher, so we're going to sprinkle that in. All right, and then we're going to bring this over. How much heat? Medium heat. Now let's medium that. All right. Adjust my camera here so you can see a little bit better what's going on. Whoop. Nope. Let's get up there. There we go. How does that look to you? That looks great. Brave Othello, I completely agree that more recipes need to be listed by mass and in metric. I would love to be able to just stick things on a scale and have things just go very smoothly. Just add, tear, add, tear, add, tear. Dark Morford, yeah, I have actually used Just One Cookbook for a number of things. They're a pretty good conglomerate corporate site for their recipes. When I'm looking for really good, I guess you'd say, home recipes, I always go to Just One, or not Just One Cookbook, rather, Just Hungry or JustBento.com. Maki Ito has been writing there for years without trying to turn it into any sort of a business, and has been doing a lot of really good work in breaking down the cultural aspects of Japanese food. So I highly recommend both Just Bento. They were the ones who kind of kicked off the bento craze back in the early 2000s, back when that was the first time around for those. All right, again, I just realized I was using the wrong side on the burner. That was going to get too much. We don't want that. Cooking with Dog, absolutely good as well, Spawnapastar. Surreal Violence, we are drinking Category 12's Down Easy Pale Ale, which is a nice and easy pale ale. Okay. We just gotta dissolve this. Let's keep stirring so that everything gets nicely combined. It also has to go to a boil, so we've got some time. In the meantime, we need to add the dry ingredients. So let's prepare those. Let's zoom out here. And we're looking for, I'm gonna grab a prep bowl, by which I mean a soup bowl. I need to get myself some good small metal and easy to clean and easy to rattle around the stack prep bowls. Dry ingredients are, we're looking for 2 teaspoons baking powder. No, that doesn't come till later. Yeah, at the end. Okay. Oh yes, we need the mochiko and the tapioca starch. Good. Okay. Let's get out our half cup and measure those things out. Tapioca starch is going to be the easy one here. Now these I do have metric measurements for, but because we're still using the other ones, I think I'm just going to stick with the one measurement type just in case things get wacky. Oh, well, this prep bowl may not be big enough. Oh, and just about close enough with the tapioca starch in terms of what I bought. I was hoping not to go over too much, but okay. Switching to glass prep bowls is a game changer. They just go in the dishwasher. Lady Elias, I mean, these also just go in the dishwasher, and honestly, so would anything else I need to actually use as a prep bowl absolutely should be going in the dishwasher, in my opinion. If you have a dishwasher, honestly, it is better for you to make use of it for that sort of thing. The hand washing is such a waste of resources compared to the efficiencies of dishwashers, especially if you can run them full. Based on the amount of water used total over the course of it, it's so much more sensible to use a dishwasher. For more information on using a dishwasher and the economics thereof, consult Technology Connections on YouTube. They do a really good breakdown of those, that. They're currently on an interesting kick about solar and electric cars, which is fascinating. Okay, that seems pretty good. Okay, those are there. We are still not yet boiling. I'm going to add a bit more heat just for fun. I'll just leave that as is. Okay. Talking about countertop induction things, yeah, that's you do the one problem with induction is that it does require specific cookware, but more often than not, most cookware is already compatible, but not a guarantee. So yeah, use your dishwasher. Also, do add the extra soap. I know that that at least my mother was definitely a non soap adder for the pre-wash cycle, but the machine does the pre-wash anyway. The machine is designed to use detergent with the pre-wash. Put a little bit in there, and it will actually make your dishwasher work better. Like that's what it. I've got a very old dishwasher. I don't know. It's definitely a mid-90s design, it looks like. But again, because I had problems. It's like, oh, we'll get everything perfectly clean. It's almost there. It's almost there. And then I started adding a little bit of detergent to that pre-wash cycle. And suddenly everything changes. Also use Rinse Aid. But yeah. I used to also be a big fan of gas stoves too, and desperately wanted one. And have been learning that, unfortunately, one of the issues with gas, especially with the systems that have any sort of a pilot light system in them, is that it means you have combustion going on, incomplete combustion going on, constantly in your home, all the time. Which means it is adding to carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and other burn-off effects of the burning of natural gas. And they just kind of get around in the house and constantly stay there. And that's why we're starting to find a link between cases of childhood asthma and other respiratory issues and the use of gas stoves in said homes. So, unfortunate for the people who like the instant heat of gas, but turns out that it's not actually all that much faster. And compared to induction, it's not even an issue. And if you can find a place where you can get a flat bottom wok, which unless you have a specific wok burner, is the kind of wok you should probably be getting anyway. Yeah. Get the induction if you can afford it, and get the Quill electric if you can find it. Glass top or halogen is probably the worst of all, but it's my help. Ooh, Quaxel has an electric plug-in wok. I hope that gets, we used to have one of those as a child. I wouldn't use it now because I don't think it would be able to get hot enough. Also, it was full of Teflon. So, that was not a good thing. Oh, here we go. We're starting to get some boiling here. Let's continue that. Let's wipe up this mess so that we can maybe cook in this area. Not like we're not cooking everywhere. Okay, let's bring that back down to medium. Let's wipe this down. Whoops. Come on. Don't have much time. Does this mochi involve pounding, says Ethel-Torian. Unfortunately not. There shall be no pounding of mochi tonight. There will be rolling and forming of mochi, but that's about it. Okay, remove from heat. We're gonna then... Ooh, almost dumped over the mochiko. We're putting that on a different level. For ease of use, lay down a work surface. We can take the heat so we don't melt our shitty countertops. And add the dry ingredients. Let's continue to stir as we do so. And a lumpy dough will form. By God, a lumpy dough is forming. Mixture will be dry in spots and hard to combine. But don't worry, this is normal. Alrighty, that looks dang good, I'd say. I think we're on the right path here, at least. Okay, that looks like that's about all I'm going to get out of that. So, time to get the mixer ready. Let's move this to the side. Take a little sip of the drink. Becomes workable in future steps. Great. Alright. Let's break out some of the old inheritance. And I just mean my mother is still very much alive, do not worry. But she just no longer needs her Kenwood Chef mixer. Get this lid off. Never been useful. Paddle. These connectors contain, or these mixing things contain lead? Almost assuredly. Am I worried? Absolutely not. Should I be? I'm gonna say, for my own sake of my own sanity, no. Should you be worried at home? That's for you to decide. All right, let us get it all in there. Yep, to release some steam and cool a little. So let's take that out. That's getting in the way of us adding it to the thing. Right now, by the way, gotta say, smell-wise, it smells like cream of wheat. Not a bad thing. I'm a fan of cream of wheat, but bit of a surprise smell. Was not expecting. Okay, there we go. Scrape the sides of that thing, and beginninate 2 minutes of mixins. Medium speed. Oh. 2-minute timer. We'll take that down just a bit there. Okay, this actually seems pretty good audio-wise. It looks like you all can hear me just fine, and you get to hear a little bit of the machine going. Just thinking about this, it's been a long time since I've actually since I've used this to make pizza dough. There we go. I was about to ask if I should combine these two pieces, which seem to be flying around in there. But the machine seems to know what it can do on its own. Yeah, the big issue is that the rubber feet on this have long since worn off, so the machine really likes to wander. The first time I used it for pizza making, I had it on the counter, and I walked away for a few minutes, and then it came out and just walked itself off the countertop. Sounds like someone trying to rearrange Tupperware in a kitchen on the other side of the house. Interesting. Guildhar, I mean, I could probably put together a decent base and some set for this. It doesn't get used that often, and honestly, it probably should be supervised. Oh, and that's 2 minutes, so let's shut her down. Okay, and then we're going to want to... Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's like Play-Doh. Beautiful. Okay, next thing next thing the recipe wants us to do is to add an egg and mix until combined, about 2 more minutes. Then 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 30 seconds, and then we're going to rest the dough. So let's egg. Egg. And 2 more minutes. Two-minute timer. Ooh. Damn, that sounds smooth now. I have a feeling we're going to need our good friend, Mr. Red Spatula. Right. I need my... How much? Two teaspoons of baking powder. Yeah, this seems to be doing quite nicely. Looks like frosting, says people. I mean, this is some very smooth dough so far. So I am very excited for this. But if you're looking to make donuts, this is probably one of the better varieties to make for a couple of reasons. Number one, I really like Honda rings. I think they're a fantastic textural and taste donut. I mean, you get the crispy outside, the chewy interior, and the and of course the frosting on top. But it's also gluten-free, which means these are the donuts that everyone can enjoy, except for those with allergies to the other things that might be in it. But at least that's one dietary restriction that you can check off the list. Iris says that they will be, this will stick to my hands like hell. I'm looking forward to finding that out. The recipe says to moisten my hands with oil. So I think that's absolutely going to be in the cards. Does moist apply to all liquids, or is it just water? Can your hands be moist with gasoline? Can your hands be moist with trying to think of another fluid that's safe for work? This one wants 30 seconds or so, too. So we'll just go by the clock there. Oh, yeah, you can see where I took my walk today. Actually, I'm going to push things down here a bit. There we go. Don't do what Daddy Ian does. There we go. Good mixins, and that's 30 seconds, folks. All right. Place piece of plastic directly on top of the dough and rest for 15 minutes. Right, let's get it out. Oh. Yeah, that's sticky. Let's clean some of that off there. Moist is derived from feelings, so anything can make you moist. Okay, good to know. This is soft. I had to brush my fingers, and it was, yeah, like a cloud. This is beautiful. Get some of that there. Ugh. Yeah, let's fire more dough across the room. That'll help everything. What do we need? More dough. It's already sticking to the silicone spatula, a material that is, by nature, designed to be minimally sticky. Okay, I think I've got everything out of there I can, possibly. I might need the spatula, won't need the dough hook again. Surface is still hot, so let's add our plastic. We are coming to the end of the roll. Okay, and stick that back in the box. Whiz bang, seal it up. Stick that over here for the requisite 15-minute timer. Great. Oof. Okay. Let's put you back where you belong. Let's put you back where you belong. Inside a drawer. Could you ask for more? Alrighty. So now what we need to do is get ourselves ready in terms of the vegetable oil for heating, but also we should get our glaze ready-ish to go. I'm not going to finish the glaze because to do so would be to invite aspects of drying. We don't want that. But what I can do is prepare the portions. We want this in something that's going to be, actually this is a perfect thing. Something that is high-sided, we can just drop in and dip. Not sure how it affects the current question of moist, but I know I've heard wet applied to solder, says Dr. JKL. Well, I mean, that's an interesting thing, because again, solder can become a liquid. That's kind of the point of the whole soldering process, is that it becomes a liquid and then flows by capillary action into the places where it needs to be, and then solidifies into a hard joint. Where's my whisk? Let's see here. Okay, chat, which do we use? Do we use the ancient dependable or the newfangled prop whisk? I don't necessarily love either of them, but they're both fine whisks. Don't be done resting just before 5:55. Now here's a question for you, Iris. Does the dough, can the dough withstand, say, a 5 to 10 minute break in between being ready and being worked. I'm just going to go over and look over my next steps here as well. Right, we also need to make the parchment paper rings. So let's get the icing sugar ready, and then we'll get to cutting out some templates and pieces of parchment. This is where things are going to get fun too, by the way. Those of you have read the recipe know what's coming up. So anyway, 1 cup powdered sugar, 2 and 1 tisp matcha. Might as well just add our tisp here. It's 1/2 tisp. 2 half tisps. And then we will close that up. Where is, let's see, 1/2 cup. That's the one we'll use. We'll just get the brush off all the other powders that have been inside, because I don't know what tapioca starch or mochi flour will do to our This baggie, not that expensive. I think this was about $1.79 or so at the local bulk barn, which is our. I don't know the grade, but it really doesn't matter because it does seem fine, perfectly powderish. It smells like mochi just fine. So, oh, match is expensive, specifically where you are, Dubas. Well, that unfortunately I can't do anything about other than to have your country adjust their tariffs with the Japanese producers. Okay, and then a full cup of powdered sugar. So that's 2 of these boys. One of these days I'll be good at I'll learn how to do a proper cup. One second, I appear to be getting a call. Hello? Hello? The call was answered elsewhere. Okay, good. One hopes. Okay, and there is a new voice fail. Interesting. Hopefully they'll call back again. Well, let's whisk this. I don't think I'm expecting any packages right now. Interesting how rough this feels. So this, as we've, in case you're wondering, is going to be our glaze. Once we get milk in it. Oh, nope, already. This is good. Does the CRA want more gift cards? No, I think that was it. That was our front door. Okay, that seems good there. Let's see here. What am going on here? What just happened?
You got birthday upon,
I did?
apparently.
Was that? Oh no. Who was that?
Beach.
Oh.
Beach and Heather.
Beach! Got to love that boy, Beach. He was good enough to make us happy. Oh. It was my birthday on Monday, and now I've got a bunch of dark beers, so I'm very happy about that. That was an interesting engagement we all had there.
Yeah, all of us.
Yes. Now it is over. All right. Oh, I need to go get a ruler. 1 second. I'll be right back. Hey, what up? We're back. It's a small kitchen. It's hard to maneuver. Where am my cutting board? Over here. Because we need to make ourselves some... Oh, thank you for the wishes of birthdays, too, friends. We need to make ourselves some squares on which to make these things. And they need to be at least 3 inches in diameter. And we need to churn this so that can fit on the plate. So I don't know, 3 inches by, well, let's go 4 inches by 4 inches, I believe is what the system wants, right? What does the recipe want from me? 4-inch squares, perfect. How wide is this? Oh, sweet, we can cut this in thirds. Great, okay. Where did I put my knife? Right here, perfect. So, where's 4 inches roughly here? Yeah. This is roughly there-ish. This. Ah, jeez. It's the worst cut I've made with this thing. Okay, and we need a few more of these, so let's go down here like this. Seems close. Good. There we go. That's 2. And 1 more, because we're going to need 9 of these, apparently. Okay, and last set. Perfect. Alrighty. We'll put that back when it's time. 7 is what the thing says, so okay. Fun fact, he used a pen and a cup to make circles for each forming on the paper, being partially transferred to the donut, but it's probably fine. Probably, generally. The recipe itself suggests that you draw 1 circle and then use that as a template underneath a second piece of parchment paper to then form your ring. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Or in fact, I may actually just make the ring on another piece of paper entirely. That's slightly less curly than these fun boys are. In fact, let's do that. Where's some paper? I've thrown out most of my scrap paper. Oh, wait. Back when an old workplace was going to throw out a bunch of cardstock, I helpfully made it into made my own sets of shitty index cards. So let's find out what's 3 inches in Ian's kitchen. More than 3 inches. Oh, wait. Oh, almost. My favorite glass is almost exactly 3 inches. That's amazing. You're just under 3 inches. I mean, it's supposed to be around that amount. You know, we'll use my favorite glass there. And let's stick that down and apply. And I may just leave this in my kitchen as my future donut template. In fact, here we go. One ring to pawn them all. Ugh. Okay, now I need to clean the edge of my glass from Sharpie Spoo. Yeah, we'll do that later. All right. And then you can easily see, haha, that's where I need to ring my pawn. That's where I need to pawn my ring. How much time we got left on the resting donuts? Resting donut face is at 33 seconds on the clock here. So, yeah, I'm going to find the isopropyl and clean off. Oh, here it is. Well, would you look at that? It's almost like I've had to do some airbrush maintenance in here over the past few days. Oh yeah, that takes that right off. There's another one on the clean side, and Bob's your uncle. We should probably soap wash that too, just for any residual bits of stuff. But hey, love me the icy propyl. Okay, Mochi is done resting. Is rested. Next is going to come our everything. So I think, yeah, let's take this time to take a short, early-ish break. So get up, swap your fluid, stretch your legs, get your Mochi rested if you need to, and we'll be back with more Tinker Tailor Salter Fry and the forming and then frying of the donuts in just a few. Don't go all the way away. Welcome back to Tinker Tailor Soldier Fry here on the Mighty Loading Ready Run Video Entertainment Network, where we are in the process of making ourselves some mochi donuts. The mochi dough has been mixed with all the things. The dough is set and ready to go. We need to add some oil to our wok in order to get that heated up. And we have set up our fry station, which is important. You'll need a pan to collect the drippings. You'll need a grate. Then you'll need some paper towel. I know Elton likes to set up his fry station such that the grate is on top of the paper towels, so that the idea being that it keeps the... You know what? The hell with it. Let's try it again. It's been a while since I've tried it. I didn't like it last time, but we'll see if it works this time. That's supposed to be flat? No, I don't think that's supposed to be flat. Okay, so let's grab 3 sets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 should be enough to start with. We'll put these under the rack. So the science behind this is going to be that, let's swap ourselves over to the big iPhone here. The science behind this is going to be that when you lay down things on a rack, what you're looking to do is get rid of the oil. If you put your paper towel directly on top of the grate, it's going to spread out the oil and it's going to cool things down, but it's not going to do anything for removing more oil. What this situation will do is that you're going to get the things off the paper towel, which means they can drip the oil down. The oil will wick away with the paper towel, and hopefully that'll mean a less oily bottom finish. So let's pretend that that's going to work out for us. We need about 2 inches of oil in our deep fry wok here. We'll make sure it's over the area. And let's break out the fry thermometer. Yes. It's time for some serious frying. And serious frying means the ancient application of quicksilver. Yep. I don't like to hear anything go snap on a piece of glass. So yeah, we want this to be down into the oil, but not bending up around things. Just about there. How about there? That seems like that's going to get us into the oil zone. Yeah. Okay. Uh-oh. I always forget that I need to cut open these. Aha! Use the thumbnail this time. The last 2 times I bought oil from this company, I've ended up just pulling the entire cap off. In fact, let me show you, because it sucks so bad. This is the last one. This is my dead oil thing, and I ended up just going, huh! And then you've got a lip there. That's not supposed to come off like that. That's supposed to unscrew, but for waste oil, that's fine. Do I have and use cooking chopsticks? Sean Hester says, I do, and I do occasionally. Got the cooking chopsticks. Don't put them in your dishwasher, otherwise they'll end up like mine are, incredibly bent. This still work fine. For something like this, though, I'm going to be using the clamps because they're going to give me a more area. In fact, I'm probably going to use the clamps in addition with the spider. Because what I don't... These donuts are going to be only held together by pressure against each other. So we want to be as close to, as gentle as we can be with these things. And having a large surface area to get under there and lay things down is going to reduce the amount of stress we put on each one of those little ball connections. So hopefully. Yeah, spiders are great. Everyone, if you do any deep frying, get a spider. Let's start with the frying oil. Did I open that up enough? Nope, there's still a bit that was there. We go. And now we've got the oiled ring. Fresh canola. In she goes. I always wonder about these pouring systems. I understand at least with oil cans you were supposed to pour like this. But that doesn't appear to be working too well for this kind of container. I think this is just bad any way you look at it. Anyway, I think we're just about at that single inch. I'm going to go just a bit farther. Fun fact, the oil does expand as it heats up, so you don't always need to use as much as you think, but I think we're going to end up using about 1/3. Yeah, that seems about right, of that container's worth of oil. That means that my my thermometer's probe is fully submerged. So that's good there. And what's the temperature it wants us to go to here? I think I saw 350. Yep, 350. So let's set that to a, let's move over here so we can see this. And then let's see if we can get that in shot as well, just for fun. Oh yeah, there we go. Everyone can see everything now that we're doing. Hey, this is called framing. So you can see the mercury is just down. Just down here. Very tiny. Let's go up to about 4 on the stove here. And I guess we're looking to start making balls. And it suggests 8 grams or 1 teaspoon per ball. And then another parchment square and arrange 8 balls. We're 8 balls in a circle. 4 and 4. Let's do it. We should never use Fahrenheit for cooking, but that's what the recipes are in, so I don't know. Folks, maybe we should just maybe we should cool it with the Americans. You know, it's and their use of imperial as a language. It's clearly part of their culture, and unfortunately, it's something that they're not really willing to change because it is a part of their culture. So we should just really respect their desire to use Fahrenheit as a measurement form, and not make so much fun of them for it. Because I'm sure they know that they're wrong, but they have to because it's traditional. I'm gonna grease up these hands using an oil-filled rag that I made myself from my own oil and rag. Actually, that doesn't seem like enough oil. There we go. I think we could probably even use a little bit more. I'm just going to throw that in here. There we go. And now I can't touch anything other than these donuts because my hands are too oily to care. So who dares? A little bit of teaspoon here. That seems teaspoon. Oh, hey! Iris was not kidding when they said that they will stick to your hands. And that's a little ball. Put that on the thing here. Oh, wow. Yep. He thinks my fingers were not oiled up enough. The palms seem quite fine, but the fingies seem a bit sticky. Let's see what we can do about that. Nothing. Okay, let's rinse the dough off and see if we can re-oil those fingies. I think the argument that about precision values and you know, Celsius being able to use the decimals but not says more about whether or not we need to have temperature in that, at least for human levels of intentionality, like for room comfort. We don't actually need that level of precision. We can get by with what we got in this Celsius. Yep, you know what? I'm just going to be sticky, and there's nothing I can do about it. Yeah. Okay, now I'm starting to stick on the palms. That's no good. Oh god, this is terrible. Everything's terrible. Oh god. Okay. Abort. Abort! Try again. Also, the thing about felt heat, what heat you feel, that is all subjective because people respond to heats differently. Ashes and Mochi, I really agree with what you're saying there. You need that 0 degrees to as a baseline. It makes sense. Like water is something we all have to we all work with. So we know what boiling water is and how hot that is. We know what ice is and how cold that is. And that's an easy, like those are perfect baselines to work with. Having a separate scale specifically for specifically for human touch experience seems madness. It's like having a completely different set of speed measurements just for cars. I have worries about what I'm doing with this. I'm gonna grab a spoon and see if that's gonna help me at all. At least in this portion. If I can reduce the amount of time my fingers spend grasping the mochi, it seems like it's going to be a better time. Two, three, four, five, six. We got room for 2 more here. Uh-oh. That might be the way to do it. Smack it. Like, honestly, I think comparing it to speed makes the most sense. Because, it's essentially the same argument. Like, oh, why do we measure speed in kilometers per hour? That's, we're only using a small subset of the scale. Why not make something that's more human scale based? Like, well, you don't need to. You just scale your expectations. That is shit, whatever we made just here. But hopefully it turns into a good donut. What the heck is that? Yeah, measure all speed in Mach. That sounds like a good idea. So Mikecaster, that's why I love Kelvin. Is that Kelvin is essentially Celsius, just starting at a different baseline. More of an absolute baseline. Okay, let's add 1. Boop. I don't think that our oil is heating up fast enough, so I'm just going to bump that up to 5 here right now. All right, let's attempt to roll out some nice pawns. No, I like having a negative scale in my temperature systems because it means I know when it's cold. It's in the minuses. And of course, I know a lot of this is just arbitrary. What you grew up with is easiest to remember, but I have strong feelings about my Celsius. Okay. Very interested to see all your opinions on these things here, folks. Fascinating discussion we have here, as always, on the mighty Loading Ready Run Video Entertainment Network. By the way, didn't mention it at the top of the show, but if you like what you see here and you'd like to support what we do, got a number of ways of doing that. You can check out patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. That's our main way of getting your funds on a regular basis. We super appreciate all of you who've chosen to show your support there and continue to appreciate new additions to the team. Also, those of you who are here at twitch.tv/loadingreadyrun, thank you for your continued support as a bidder or a subber. We'll get to those at the end of the show. Of course, you may know that we are in the midst of a moon-based move, which means people like to support those sorts of things. So we've given you the opportunity to over at, oh, Jesus Christ, store.loadingreadyrun.com. What terrible things I have wrought here today. I wonder how much of this this donut is just going down the drain right now. Ah! Dragonite Streams. You're saying, or Dark Warford, rather. Hardest thing about switching your metric to me would be relearning how to estimate. Well, you'd have to pull out the calculator or the converter every time you need to find out what something is. Welcome to the world of Canadians. I swear, every time I'm at the grocery store, I am pulling out my calculator or asking Siri, "Hey, what's 450 grams in pounds? Because I need this many pounds of something." You know, that seems like a thick ring. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7's good enough. 7 is a thick ring. Do not talk about my ring. How's our oil doing? We're at 250 now. Still waiting for that to brighten up. Hey, there we go. That brightened everything up there. Okay, make sure my hand is good and oily. Okay, and then get to it before it starts sticking. Those first balls we have very little problem with. That's more than a teaspoon, but that's okay. You know what? These might just be big donuts. I'm okay with big donuts. I like a big donut. How about you? There we go. Yep, looks like you just need to really move quickly with these things and keep your hands oiled. At least that's what I'm learning. Your technique may differ. Yeah, the minute it lays on the skin for just a bit too long, it just becomes a untouchable mess. God. Yeah, products are usually listed symphonically in both things, but things like meat, you'll get the price listed in both. Generally, if it's a grocery store, you'll get the price listed in both. But whenever they're actually weighing the meat itself on the package, it will only ever show you the grams, at least in my experience. So that basically, I mean, it's nice to know that it's this much per pound. How much do I get, though, is what I'd like to know. Okay, back to Oil Town. Roll them up, roll them up. These are probably going to be way too big. Oh god, this is... I have made something monstrous. Monstrous? Monstrous? Monstrous. Yep, that's... You need that clean release. Clean release. I wonder, do you think an extra spoon might be handy here for scraping into the hand? No, I'd only have so many hands. So, I'll just have to... hope for the best. Okay, that one's going to be the worst donut, but I think it's going to be okay. Excuse me a moment, it's getting really hot in here, so I'm just going to go quickly open the window. Oil the spoon, that's not a bad idea. I'm going to do that. Whew. Oh god, fluid ounces. Don't get me started. We are inching our way to the correct temperature here. That is the way I like to do it. All right. You know what? Scrape that spoon. Clean it out. And then we'll oil it up. See if that's any better. Although I get the feeling it's going to have the same sorts of problems. Holy moly. I know it wasn't directed at me, Iris, but I absolutely love the idea of the angel's share for donuts. I feel like I want to reference that episode of Treehouse of Horrors, the Simpsons Halloween episode where Homer goes to hell and has to eat all the donuts and doesn't stop, because of course not. I think it's got to be something like that. It's where the gluttons share. Oh god, my hand is so dry on the inside of it. The palm. Have to make it oily. Good and oily for the donuts the way they like it. Okay. Oiling appears to be a... Also my technique of teaspoons leaves a lot to be desired. Wonder how they do it at the Mr. Donut factories. How do they keep their hands from becoming a mochi mess? Nope. Oh. I can hear the crow friends outside, too. They are starting to get a lot more comfortable with taking peanuts off my balcony. I made contact with a friend a couple days ago, and they've been coming by in the morning. And they're getting a lot more used to landing on the railing, which they generally despise. It's that sort of black matte painting that you get on railings so often. That's kind of powdery, and it's very very slippery for crow feet. So they've got to make sure that their approach is just perfect. And they don't like that all that much. Okay, we're at 350. Iris, I'm sorry to hear that there are no crows in the neighborhood, but you know what? Grackles will not do in a pinch. Love me a good grackle, but they're not the same. Grackles I honestly think of as the Costco bird, because they're always around the Costco parking lot whenever I'm there. They're great. I had some good fun with the grackles last time I was at the Costco, giving them bits of bun from my $2.99 hot dog. $2.99 or $1.99? I can't remember. My cheap hot dog, which was actually a Polish sausage. You know what? Because we're at 350, let's do a donut hole right now. And I think these are 2 minutes. Oh no, 45 seconds. Then remove the pastry, and 2 minutes per side. So let's just hold it up. Whoop. There we go. 2-minute timer.
2 minutes.
Great. You know what I'm most excited about is that because of the way I've got things set up right now here, I can monitor the frying from across the kitchen at the sink here while I wash my hands off. Kiwi Jelly and Grackle got trapped in the lobby and the flock stayed around for over 6 hours while he figured out where the door was. That's great. Draken, yeah, I've been trying to be careful with the crows because I don't want them to be expectant of food from my balcony to the point where they come early in the morning whenever sunrise is and just scream at the door until we give them peanuts. Because that would be bad for everyone in the building and would probably end in some really unfun changes to the building and whatnot to try and get the crows to go away. I am an unfan of trying to make friends with the crow. Alrighty, would you look at that? Yeah, we didn't do too bad with that. I need to click that link to there we go, the Meerkat sent about how to do this without needing to oil anything. Oh, sweet Jesus, it's just it's just one of them things. A dough doser. And by dough doser, I mean icing. Icing piper. Is that the word? So now we need to add a bit of milk. Okay, that's 2 minutes on that one, but they want 2 minutes per side, so let's flip it over. Gotta drop the heat a bit more here because we are now way above temperature. 2-minute timer. Oh, Magpie's knocker, so good. Okay, where was I going here? Right, need to make the glaze. Glaze! What do we want for glaze? I feel like I've made too much glaze, but you know what? Here we are. 2 tablespoons whole milk is all we need in that. Which is not a lot. But hey, it's Glaze Town. Forget about it, baby. It's Glaze Town. Thick but pourable like a yogurt drink. Well, this needs a bit more. There we go. It's real good, folks. Okay, that's a smooth glaze. Might have been a better idea to make it a little bit thicker, but I think... No, that looks good. I think I'm happy with that. Does it glaze the finger? You know it does. Just in time, because our good friend Donut number 1 is ready to come out. Our temperature is currently at 375. This is 350, but I think we can deal with that. I think that's going to be fine if we just drop a full donut in there, which we are going to do. I mean, let's start at the beginning. A very fine place to start. So they suggest that I should lower this in donut first, which I'm going to do. Looks good so far. It needs 2 minutes, so after 30 seconds, 2-minute timer. Okay. And then we can just remove this, because that doesn't need to be in there anymore. I'm going to grab a plate to put those on so that they don't... Actually, I'll just throw them in here for now. That can act as our garbage sink. Boy, that's looking really good right now. And we're coming down to 350, so that's good. We're going to turn the heat back up to about 3. Gildar says, I've heard adding 2 to 3 panko crumbs to the oil, then waiting for them to brown shows the perfect temperature. I mean, Gildar, that is... I like rules of thumb like that, but that's where you get when you've... once you've really nailed down how your stove and your wok situation reacts to heat and heat temperature and time. I like to use the thermometer because it is precise, and that way I know where we're getting. Because when they get brown is a function of time, and temperature. So more temperature, less time is going to make things more brown. And of course, panko is already fried. So if you're at that point, you gotta be careful. I was recently frying some chicken the other day, and again, same thing. I want to make sure that I've got that temperature right. I've got the temperature above where it needs to be, so that when the thing that I'm frying hits the oil, it brings it down to the good temperature, rather than it's crashing. Rather than going below and then having to bring yourself up with extra heat. You always want to bring yourself down. Oop. Look at that. Holy moly, does that look good. I might not even need the spider for this today. You know what? I'm going to spider them out anyway, just so that they're... No, you know what? Let's live dangerously. Claw only. Yeah, so this brown and this brown, they look beautiful, but I think they're a little bit more than they need to be, because it is... how do you say? The oil is still a little bit hot. We're looking at just under 375. So again, I'm going to take it down just a bit. But what I am going to do, I'm going to dip this this little friend here. So he's like that. Good. Let's flip that over. Let's just dip that top edge there. And that way, that's something we can at least enjoy by the end of the stream. Stay upright. Yeah, I think I may have made the glaze just a bit too thin, but we'll survive. Honestly, the glaze is the least important part, in my opinion. Oh yeah, no, I'm not going to live dangerously in the sense of just reaching in here by hand and grabbing that. Yeah, you know what? I can keep that temperature down. It's sticking solid to that 375. Which is fine. This is just making some really golden donuts. Okay, that's it for that one. Nut out. I believe what you would say at the end of this level in the video game. And never anywhere else in real life. Okay, so before it gets too much hot, let's add this one. I'm really impressed with how good this donut came. Don't touch that with your bare hands yet. But it looks to me like the 2-minute timer. Even the really terrible looking donuts are rounding out properly inside the oil, which is nice. Anubis asks a question that I did answer earlier, but I would absolutely happy to reiterate. What do you do with the oil when you're finished with it? Well, what I generally do is just cover over the wok, and then I will use the oil again later in the week. And this is actually, this is something that I did naturally, and I recently found out Kenji does the same thing, is that we kind of get on kicks of deep frying. So we'll just tend to use the deep fried, or use the oil several times throughout the week until it's basically expended. I do have jars available for reclaiming oil. I've done that once before, but I found it wasn't necessary. I generally end up just using the oil until it's used up. And yeah. This has a shaku tape measure in Japan, rare as hell. That sounds like a real fun thing to have, though. That's cool. Now you can make flutes. Yeah, gelatin's an interesting way of clarifying the oil, Kawaki. I've never used it myself because I don't feel like... I feel like the gelatin is... Especially here, the cost of the gelatin is more than the savings of the oil. So you're better off just dumping it and using fresh oil, in my opinion. But again, everyone's calculations will be different based on where they are and their situations. Ever been to one of those authentic chip shops that claims to have never cleaned their oil because that's the history of the place? Temporary lied? No, that's a bad thing. You should absolutely be cleaning your oil quite often, unless you've got an amazing oil filtration system going on. And flippy dippy. Oh, yeah. That, like, the frying process really kind of removes any issues I've had with the ugliness of the donut itself. So this is impressive. But yeah, good oil, like he's exactly right. Good oil will break down under heat regardless of filtration. Yeah. Yeah, I just poured out old oil today, and we had 2 days of fried chicken. One with beer battering, which didn't turn out as well as I wanted it to, and one with I ran it back so that I could try it with buttermilk as the liquid. The buttermilk was definitely the right choice there. Did some tempura with it, and then of course, as I mentioned, did the falafel. So that's like 6 days worth of frying there. And there wasn't much oil in the pot. I was actually using a lot less than I am right now, but this will be good for some other things. Maybe I'll do some hash browns or another round of tempura. Tempura is a really good one because the batter is very light, and you're getting your veggies, which is the important thing. I believe I've done tempura here on Tinker Tailor Soldier Fry. If I haven't, I should absolutely check that out. Spawn of Huster, I don't know whether I did Egyptian or Israeli style falafel. I used chickpeas and then I made them into balls and then I fried them. So if that's the difference, if you can tell me the difference, I can hopefully give you some more information. Chickpeas means Israeli? Okay, cool. What's the Egyptian based spawn? I'm curious. Ah, these fava beans. I want to try those then, because I do love a good fava bean. Donut is out time. The Nerd Wonder, you could probably absolutely use pancake batter for this. What you'd probably end up with is something more akin to a beaver tail. If you just drizzle the pancake batter into like a pattern or something like that. That would be my guess. Yeah, I guess what I've just made here is giant pond rings. Yeah, temperature is good. Let's stick it in and go straight to the 2 minutes. And the paper just floats away. This is the second type of donut that I've ever tried making. And I've only ever done deep frying for donuts. I believe there was a previous episode of Tinker Tailor Soldier Fry where I did Alton Brown's Bownut recipe, which is you take a biscuit recipe and then you cut out the holes into donut shapes and eat them, and they're quite nice actually. They puff up real good. They're kind of like a different, kind of like a cross between a cake donut and a cronut, like a croissant donut. But really good, really easy to make. Question about the matcha. Doesn't the heat from the oil destroy it? No, it does not, Anubis, because the hot oil, never touches the matcha. The matcha was only ever part of the glaze process. That gets added after the fact, so just fine. I did add the granulated sugar. I'm like, these are going to be pretty bland donuts because they don't have any sugar in them. But yes, sugar was one of the first ingredients used as part of the boiling of the wow, why did I space on milk like that? On the milk. So we're good. We're good! But yeah, I've done 2 different falafel recipes that I'm both happy with. One is specifically meant for canned chickpeas, and the other for using chickpeas that you rehydrate from scratch. And they have both been good. And so maybe one of these days we'll do a falafel night here on Tinker Tailor Soldier Fry. The other one that was good was the Kefka balls. Yes, little meat. I want to say Persian meatballs. I could be wrong about that. Don't quote me on that because I don't have the information in front of me. Not Kefka. Jesus, where? Kofta. That's it. Sorry. Let's see if I can pull up the recipe and at least point you all in the right direction. Why is that not showing up here? Untitled. Ah, yes. Kofta kebab. Middle Eastern meatballs, they call it. Got that recipe from dinnerthendessert.com. Anyway. Yeah, the kofta meatballs have an amazing flavor to them due to their combination of spices and the addition of a huge amount of parsley to them. Just mwah. Want to see Ian make his own shawarma? I mean, boy, I sure would like to have a big old shawarma rotisserie, but that could be fun too. I saw a question. Amsad asked, "Did you make your own wok?" Boy, I wish I had. And the more that I look for replacement wok, so you'll notice something about this wok is that it has. Let's not move the wok itself, but let's move the camera. It has a handle here at the top, and no handle here because the wood broke off. But what I desperately want is to be able to drill out these rivets and make or forge or do something to create a handle so that I can have a big old handle on this side and then the like a pokey out handle that comes out this way, like a God, I can never remember which one is the southern, which one is the northern style of woks, and then have this other handle stay where it is. But I can't find a good stainless steel or cast iron wok, spun wok, and that's what I like about this one is it's spun, so that it's got good heat retention, got good heat conduction, and clean and easy to season area. Because that's what I want out of it. I'm going to give this one another minute on each side, just because this is such a thick donut. I want to make sure that it's properly cooked all the way through. This is this is a glass top standard. It's not halogen, but it is gas, or not gas top, glass top radiant. Oh, gas. Yeah, no, Discordant, I'm actually looking to talk with Alex about possibly making a handle for that, because it's like I said, I like this wok, and I've done some good work seasoning it, and I could probably, I mean, honestly, if it does go in to get a handle attached, it's probably going to need reseasoning anyway, because we're absolutely going to want to give it a full cleaning, but... Okay, that's 1 minute on that side. Let's flip it. Stick it. See you later. Bye. Another minute there. Not 1 hour. And then we've got one more donut left to do. And then the proof of the pudding will be in the tasting. While that's going on, let's bring this over here. Let's dip our other friends in the glaze, shall we? That seems like, yep, 40 seconds. So let's spin up our glaze here. And I'm going to go dippity dippity doo. Whoop. Give it a second drip. And then lay it down. And we'll go this side too. Whippity whippity woo. Everybody gets coated in glaze. Then we'll just lay it down. That run off. Time's up. Let's get you out of your bath. Temperature is at about 360, which I think is about where we want it to be. I'm happy with that. All right, last one. Let's take our pondering template, remove the template, and add the donut to the oil. Start our 2-minute countdown. And Bob's your uncle. Just now checking in on the chat here to make sure we're all being all being polite and good. Ooh, we can get rid of the paper too. So what I've done is I've made donuts that are clearly too big. And we'll just have to eat them all, I guess. I guess. Kabaki Marcus says, I was scrubbing the playlist for the other donut video, but alas, I missed it or wasn't there. It might not have happened. I try a lot of new things, and sometimes they show up on stream, and sometimes they don't. Maybe a Bonut episode is in the future. Although, after doing this might be the last kind of donut I make, if they taste as good as they look. Hello, disgusting spectator. You're saying that you're late to the show tonight because you were at a union meeting? Best reason to be late. I hope it's, I hope the union is working out for y'all, and it's not a prelude to, further action. What if it is a prelude to further action? Good luck. What else we got here? Uncle Bob. Yeah, I miss my Uncle Bob, unfortunately. Not unfortunately that I miss them, but I miss that they no longer are extant. Convince everyone to have a deep frying Space and Moonbase Mark 6. Nikus, I will be the first to say that, unfortunately, that's not going to be in the cards. Whether or not I actually do it, end up doing, what's it called? Deep frying in Moonbase Mark 6? Remains to be seen, but as it stands, there is currently no plans for expansion of the kitchen spaces in Moonbase Mark 6. So, cooking streams may continue here at the Tiltios Crystal Gondola. What about the fume hood? Well, that would be nice too. Oh, 100 plus members attended. We got bargaining coming up in April. Yes, absolutely. Solidarity for you. Oh geez, did I flip that without turning the timer on? I guess I did. Start it now. Solidarity, good luck in the bargaining, and do not accept anything other than at least a match of inflation, a match to inflation in your wages under a cost of living agreement, or direct addition to your wages, because anything less than inflation is a cut in your pay, says someone who has recently gone through negotiations and had personal disagreements with the way that things ended up 54 to 46% in favor of, hey, what else are we talking about here? Americat says, got distracted, so I don't know if Ian answered your question, but you can never dissolve magic power into a liquid the way you would sugar or salt. You are creating a suspension instead of a solution, so you have to make sure to stir it up before you resuspend it. Yep, correct. I didn't mention it, but that is what I would call perfect explanation of the system. Thank you, Americat. I think we're just about done with the donuts here. Let's mix up our last bit here. Dip our current undipped friend. Oh yeah, dip you on the back side. Yeah, that's the crib side. I don't know if it's not, or if it is or not. Also, if anyone can look up what repping matcha glaze is under the hanky code, that would be very helpful for future Ian. Okay, let's cancel that. cut the heat because we're done. Look at that last beautiful, beautiful donut. Let's add that to the pile. Let's see if I can grab any of these floaty bits here, because floaters are never good for the oil. Then we're going to have to, I think we're going to call this a show. Very close to calling it a show. There's one very important thing that we need to take care of before we close tonight off. And I think y'all know what it might be. But we've done the due diligence. Oh, let's do this all the way. Hey, you can see the light bulb in the middle of the oil. Looks kind of cool. Let's bring y'all to big camera, or big brio. We like to be. And let's get ourselves, I mean, before we do that, let's do a proper examination here. Yes, there's our boy. You can see the glaze already. Come on. Get in there. That's too bright. Too bright. There we go. Look at that. Crispy, crunchy. It's laying down bits of glaze. The glaze is not completely hardened, so that's we need to wait for that to happen. But let's see how it feels in the mouth. Let's see how it feels and tastes. Sorry, geese outside. They're currently migrating. Wow. Mmm. Mmm. Mm-hmm. Mmm. 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 Whoa. Okay. So. Mmm. Mmm. I think it's good that I cooked that big one more, because it doesn't taste undercooked, but they do taste a bit doughy. I think that's my fault for making them too big. That said, verdict is tasty, delicious. They're definitely a pleasant thing to have in the mouth, and I'm excited to try the rest of them once they've properly cooled and or settled for a few minutes, and of course having the glaze firm up a bit. Definitely going to take not the Maricat, Iris of Ether's advice, and possibly throw those in the microwave for eating future-wise, because that seems like that would really soften things up and make that work out. And I definitely want to try this again with a smaller rolls for the donuts themselves. But God, what a successful little bake that we've done today. Very happy that we can succeed in these things every now and then. And I'm afraid that's how sweet are they, says the Real Violence. Just sweet enough. They are sweet enough in the dough that they taste sweet. You can taste the butter and milk in there too, and the smoothness of the mochiko flour and the tapioca. It's definitely a chewy dough. It's a lot like a cake donut. It's not what I was expecting, which is a very springy and very chewier. But I think that has a lot more to do with, again, that I might not have cooked these completely in the oil. So I'm very curious to see how that happens when you change the size of the ring. But boy, what a good little donut! How easy it is to do. Compared to flying to Japan to buy a donut and then flying back to Canada. Gonna have to try that. Have you tried them with soy sauce glaze they put on dango? Kiwi jelly I've not. That probably be tasty. probably be very tasty. The recipe suggests raspberry glaze as well, and other fruit-based, dehydrated fruit-based berry glazes. Interesting to do. But can you make more precise gigs? You can maintain small mochi. Is that something to struggle with? Kitar Cat, if you looked earlier, the issue was just trying to roll these balls into a shape that was correctly sized and correctly shaped. But now we've discovered that we can use a pastry, an icing pipe bag to dispense and then snip off the correct amounts. I think that'll be great. Ube, yes, Iris, you are absolutely correct. I love that in the recipe they list the ingredients that you can use for the glazes based on the amount of material used. So I think it starts off with a couple tablespoons or a couple teaspoons of dried berry, then it goes down to something else, then it goes down to 1 teaspoon of matcha powder, and then a half tablespoon or a half teaspoon of ube extract if you want if you want things to be purple and ube flavored. Kiwi Jelly says you can use a condiment bottle. That's an absolutely great idea. That's smart. I don't think that this one's going to work out well enough because that's probably too small of an aperture, even if you slice it right down at the bottom. But it would, something like that would probably be very good. Oh, okay. Meerkat says the store-bought ones are done using an extruder to dump the dough directly into the oil so they don't even have to roll them. That makes things easy. Kiwi Jelly is used when to make jalebi, which is one of those things I haven't had since I moved away from Edmonton. So that's something I might need to look into recipes on, because that would be a fun little thing to make too. Especially since, wait, we've got the oil. Yeah, right there. Okay. Folks, that's going to do it for Tinker Tailor Soldier Fry for this week. I want to thank everyone for watching tonight and being in the chat there. I want to thank you to everyone who supports us over at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Check out all the shows over at loadingreadyrun.com/live. It's got a link to our schedule. You can find out what's coming up next. You can find all of our shows live at twitch.tv/loadingreadyrun. And of course on YouTube on our panoply of channels. Check youtube.com/loadingreadyrun for links to all of it. And of course store.loadingreadyrun.com makes Beej happy because you put that money directly into his pocket and then he takes it out and pays our suppliers and distributors and whatnot. But we keep some of it, and some of it goes into my pocket, and I thank you greatly for that. Let's talk about who was generous here. Wait, no, we can't do that because we're done. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and we will see you next time. As I say, in a fortnight, because that's the 2-week time between shows, never in Fortnite, simply because I don't play Fortnite. You do you. But that said, good night, and thank you for watching. Ever forward, burning out of spite.